Here's a list of my top 10 favorite directors. As someone who's a year into the film watching journey, still relatively new, but I've seen a little over 1,000 movies, so I've developed my taste a little bit. Starting at number 10, I have Denis Villeneuve. I liked Enemy, Arrival, Blade Runner, and Dune Part 2, but my favorite movies of his would have to be Incendie and Prisoners. I recently just watched Prisoners. I wasn't too big on it. I liked it, but I just now recently realized what a masterpiece it was. Everyone's acting in it is fantastic. Cannot praise it enough. Number 9 is Rob Reiner. Rest in peace. I liked Misery, Stand By Me, and The Princess Bride. But my favorite movies would have to be When Harry Met Sally and A Few Good Men. When Harry Met Sally, in my opinion, is the greatest rom-com of all time. Meg Ryan is fantastic in it, but the movie would not be what it was without Billy Crystal. And I know there's a lot of conversations about his role in it, but I think the reason why we don't have rom-coms like that today is because people are worried about the wrong things. Number 8 is Sidney Lumet. I like Network, Running on Empty, and The Fence. But my favorite movies of his would have to be 12 Angry Men, Dog Day Afternoon, and Serpico. 12 Angry Men, in my opinion, is the greatest movie ever made. I could go on and on about how great that movie is, but we'll save it for another day. Number 7 is Brian De Palma. I just love the way he's able to capture eroticism and horror and bring it that 70s, 80s vibe, whatever. My favorite movies of his is Body Double, Dress to Kill, Raising Cain, and number 1 would easily be Blowout. I just love the vibes he's able to create, and he's actually a disciple of one of my other favorite directors who's higher on the list. Number 6, love him or hate him. A lot of you hate him, and for good reason, but Quentin Tarantino. I saw a couple of his movies. I thought they were good, but I didn't really get the hype until I watched Django Unchained, which is probably one of the most entertaining first watches I've ever had. My favorite movie of his, number 1, is Django Unchained, then Inglourious Basterds, and then Hateful Eight. Getting to the top 5, I have Martin Scorsese. Now, I'm not as big on him as I've seen other people, but his talent is undeniable. He's legend for a reason, and it took me a little while to appreciate his classics like Wolf of Wall Street and Departed. I like Killers of the Flower Moon, but my favorite movies of his would have to be Raging Bull, Casino, The Aviator, which I don't see a lot of people talking about, but it is really, really good and a standout in his filmography for me. And number 1 is Shutter Island. I know it's cliche film bro-y, but it's popular for a reason. What can I say? Number 4 is probably the most interesting person to me, just based on how he approaches his craft. He uses realism and time like nobody else, and by now you should already know that's Richard Linklater. I like Tate, which I don't see a lot of people talking about, but I still had a great time with it. But my favorite movies of his would have to be School of Rock, the Before trilogy. In my opinion, the greatest trilogy of all time. But I haven't seen Lord of the Rings. That maybe will change after I see Lord of the Rings, but who knows? Right now, I'm gonna stick with the Before trilogy. My favorite movie out of that trilogy is Before Sunset. I think it's a masterpiece. A lot of people were disappointed in the third movie with Before Midnight, but in my opinion, I think Before Midnight is better than Before Sunrise. It's just so real. And as someone whose parents weren't, in the most happiest of marriages, I felt like I was watching them on screen. And another movie by Linklater that I don't see people talking about nearly as much is Boyhood, which probably has the most interesting story behind the making of it. It's filmed across 12 years, and it's like a snapshot of this boy's life. And you watch the characters grow up. I've never seen anything like it. A lot of people might call it boring, but I just thought it was so real, and I thought it was so fascinating just watching these characters grow up, specifically this one boy, and we see how they navigate life. I definitely recommend it if you don't mind, more chill, laid back, reflective movies that don't have a lot of action in it. Number 3 is someone who I just recently came across within the last few months, Billy Wilder. I just love film noir genre, and I haven't seen anyone do it like him. He's able to have these morally ambiguous characters and just develop a really compelling story around it. I like Double Indemnity, Some Like It Hot, and Witness for Prosecution, but my favorite movies of his would have to be Ace in the Hole, The Apartment, and Sunset Boulevard, which is a classic. I recommend you watch it if you haven't seen it. Number 2 is someone who used to be my number 1 for the longest, but he was recently surpassed. Nonetheless, I still love his work. It introduced me into film, and loving it. And he's mainstream, very popular, very basic answer. But Christopher Nolan, I guess he's like a gateway director where even like, the most casual audiences can watch his work and just fall in love with, watching movies. I like Inception, but my favorite movies of his would have to be, funny enough, his debut feature, Following. Not a lot of people like it. It's not as well known, but I still had a great, fantastic time with it. After that would have to be number 3, The Prestige, number 2, The Dark Knight, and number 1, which is my favorite movie of all time. Very underrated in his filmography, and I don't feel like enough people appreciate it. Even though it's rated up there, but I feel like the love should be endless for it. Memento. That movie in itself requires another video that I don't have time to get into right now, but I just cannot say enough good things about it. Love it to death. Number 1 movie of all time. Number 1 director is Alfred Hitchcock, whose filmography I find the most consistently entertaining. It's a very rare occurrence for me specifically to watch a director's filmography and end up actually liking the majority of it. There's probably 1 or 2 movies out of the 27 movies that I've seen from him that I didn't like, but the majority of them I had a great time watching. I liked Rebecca, Vertigo, classic, Suspicion, Rope, Marnie, Spellbound, To Catch a Thief. But my favorite movies of his, starting from lowest to highest, would be Lifeboat, which is a great social commentary that not a lot of people know about, let alone talk about. The Trouble with Harry, The Lady Vanishes, Doubt, and for Murder, Saboteur, Psycho, which is a classic, Rear Window, which is another classic, and number 1, North by Northwest, which is probably one of the most entertaining journeys we've ever seen in film, and has one of the most charismatic, charming people to ever grace the screens of cinema, and Cary Grant, and one of my favorite actors. There you have it. That's the list of my favorite directors. Let me know some of yours and follow me for more.